Hello everyone. My name is Mehar Sindhu Batra and I'm back with another video. Being a CA student, one has to undertake a 3-year articleship training at a CA firm. I pursued mine at KPMG in India, and that's what today's video is all about. I'm going to take you through my entire articleship experience at a Big Four consultancy firm. How did I apply? What was the interview process? And looking back now, whether all the years of hard work at a Big Four consultancy firm were worth it or not. For those of you here for the first time, a warm welcome. I'm a Chartered Accountant from India and an MBA from Imperial College London, and I make videos to create awareness on the various career opportunities in the world today, as well as share some tips and tricks on productivity and positivity in order for you to accelerate your career and make a meaningful impact both professionally as well as personally. So now, without wasting any more time, let's dive into what this video is all about. To make this video very precise and to the point, I've broken it down into a few parts. The first is a little bit of a background of me as a CA student and why I chose KPMG. The second is how did I apply. The third is the entire interview process. Then I'm going to talk to you about the advantages of working at a Big Four consultancy firm. And that's going to bring me on to whether the entire Big Four hype was worth it. And last but not least, a few tips and tricks to keep in mind during your articleship training. So let's begin. So to tell you something very honestly and very frankly, when I decided to pursue the Chartered Accountancy degree, for me, working at any other firm except a Big Four was not an option. When I visualized myself as a Chartered Accountant or as a CA student, I always wanted to be a part of the big consultancy firms. I'm not saying that everybody has to go down that path, but that was my personal goal and I made sure that I achieved it. When I was studying for the intermediate course exams, I still remember I wrote down on a post-it note saying KPMG and put it right in front of me on my desk. I didn't know how I would actually end up working there, but I just wanted to keep that goal in front of me. I really believe in the power of visualizing your goals. When you tell your mind to think a certain way and you believe in the goal from within and you see the goal in front of you every single day, your mind and the universe somehow rewards you for all the hard work and makes it happen for you. Whether it was just a simple thing like writing KPMG on a post-it note when I was just 19 years old, I think it impacted my entire professional life. So once I actually sat for my intermediate course exams, I did not want to waste any time waiting for the results. Things were a little different back then, but what I did was I redid my entire CV, made sure it was all properly formatted and printed it out. I think I made about 20 copies and I put them in this white envelope. And my mom told me, why don't you go meet people and give them your CV and talk to them and tell them that you're interested in working in their firm. My parents did not know anybody working at these big firms. I did not have any chartered accountants in my family. I was the first one. So it was all very new for me, but that's what started it all. I just took some printouts and sat out and went to all these big firms in Gurgaon. I went to the reception of KPMG, of PwC, of Ernst & Young, and that brings me to the second point, which is how did I actually apply to KPMG? I know my story is very unique and it always wouldn't work this way, but I still want to be really honest and transparent on how I actually got the KPMG articleship. So me and my sister, we reached KPMG and the security guard would not let us through to go into the reception. But I talked to the security guard and I told him that I'm a CA student looking to join KPMG and I really want to. And he took my CV and he gave me the visiting card of the HR manager who was in charge of recruiting CA students. You know, looking back now, I think everything is such a journey, and when you actually look back and think about your story, you don't understand how these people who were actually, I think, were angels along your journey. And I really think that security guard who took my CV and gave me the HR manager's phone number was my angel, and God bless him. So he gave me the number and he told me to call him on a particular day at a particular time. And that's what I did. I called the HR manager. And that brings me to the third part of this video, which is the entire interview process. whenever you apply for a job, the interview process would more or less typically consist of the following stages. The first will be a telephonic interview to check whether you're even fit to be called in personally to give an interview. The next would be the first round, which would be the HR round. The next would be a sort of a technical round, which would be by someone who's senior in the department that you're applying to work at. And the last and final round, if you make it, would be a partner or a director level round, which is taken by the senior most and top member of the organization. So my first round, I called that HR manager and he asked me a bunch of questions for about 10 minutes. I think he was testing my basic communication skills and whether I would be able to clearly communicate my journey and my story. He asked me about my schooling, he asked me about my college, he asked me about the CPT, which was the foundation level exam. And at the end of the conversation, he took my email address and he told me that he will be in touch with me to call me on for the next round. So after a few days, I was called on for my first round, which was with the HR, the same person who had taken my telephonic interview. This round was a little bit more general, again to test my communication skills, the way I was presenting myself, the way I was able to articulate my story, the way I was able to communicate my passions, my learnings, and how I was eager to join KPMG. So a few things that he asked me were very general questions about why KPMG, why Chartered Accountancy, what department I want to work in. After the first round, we were all told to wait for a little while, and then a few of us were selected to go on for the technical round. The technical round for me was conducted by a manager from the auditing department. So I made sure before I actually went for the interview, I revised everything that I had studied for the intermediate course exams group 1, because that's the group I had just taken the exams of. So in the technical round, the manager asked me questions about accounting standards, a little bit about audit, and a few topics on taxation. When I did not know something very well, I was very honest and I told him, I'm not very sure about this. And after that, we were sent home. I did not know whether I'll make it to the next round, but I got an email that I was called for the partner round. I can't even tell you how nervous I was when I went to take the partner round. I was just 20 years old and I was sitting in the reception of this big corporate. The whole experience was very, very overwhelming, intimidating, and nerve-wracking. Of course, I always made sure that I was well dressed and well put together, because I think that's one of the main things that they're observing. They want to see how you present yourself, your body language, the way you communicate, the way you shake somebody's hand. And those were all the things that the partner was observing, and I still remember this. The partner asked me some very generic questions like, why did I choose KPMG? Will I be okay working long hours? What are my long-term plans? Where do I see myself in 5 years? What do my parents do? He really wanted to know whether I'm going to study further after pursuing Chartered Accountancy and whether I'll be able to work those long hours. And I think all these CA firms have this thought that girls will not be able to work late. But I made sure to communicate that I knew that this is going to be a lot of hard work and I was willing to put in those long hours at work just to be able to get an opportunity to work at KPMG. I think the partner round is more of a stress test. They try and test you whether you'll be able to be a fit or an asset to their organization. And that's where you have to prove that you're extremely motivated and you will be a loyal employee. And after that very stressful day, I left and did not know what to expect. But after a few days, I got a call from the same HR manager saying that I had gotten selected, and I can't tell you how excited and emotional I was that day. I made it to KPMG on my own. I did not take help from any friends, family friends. So on 12th July 2010, I started my articleship at KPMG India as a trainee. So for these 2 weeks, we were all trainees, and after the result was declared, the ones who clear the exams would become a permanent employee and their contract would be changed from trainee to an audit assistant. I did not have the option of choosing which department I wanted to be a part of. Audit was selected for me by the KPMG team themselves. And at that time, I did not even know what audit was exactly, but it's all about learning on the job. After the intermediate course results were declared, I did end up passing the exams, and I was one of the few people who actually went on to become audit assistants. And that was again a moment of pride for me and for many of us. So now I'm going to talk to you about my entire articleship experience and the things that I learned on the job. Not knowing what audit really is, I was given my first client under a very nice senior executive. I think it's a lot of luck, the kind of people you work with, because every job has a mixture of nice people and unpleasant people. But I was fortunate enough to mostly work with very nice people who were willing to help me and teach me how to be an auditor. And that brings me to the next part of this video, and that is the Big Four advantages. So some of the many advantages of working at a Big Four consultancy firm were, of course, it makes you feel proud and gives you a boost of self-confidence that you are a part of this big multinational corporation, and you feel motivated to go to work every day. They have set standards and procedures on how to do things, the kind of clients that you deal with, people from all these big companies, and you're dealing with these stakeholders, you're learning the methodologies. It's very professional, and everything is very much in order, and they expect you to follow all those procedures and do things the right way. The quality of output delivered to the client has to be the best because it is one of the best firms in the world. And that's the kind of level of expertise, competence, communication skills, and professionalism that they expect from you. And I think KPMG was a great place for me to groom myself, communicating, working hard, and being a part of a big firm in my early 20s. And also, the advantage of working in the auditing department is that you get to work at clients belonging to different industries, learn about their business processes and the financial impact of those business processes. And that's what I did. During my time at KPMG, I worked at over 30 clients in teams of 2 to 15 people. I started at the most junior level but gradually became better at what I was doing, and towards the end started leading my own teams and my own engagements. It was very exciting for me to be sent on a client and understand how they operate, what they exactly do, and just learn about their business and their industry. I literally worked on Microsoft Excel all those years and made me very quick at formatting using formulae and shortcuts, and present great looking work papers to the senior team. There's a lot of reports that we have to produce, and those too were of high quality, and that made me very detail oriented. I made sure that everything was very neat and clean and very precise. Big Four consultancy firms also have their own tools and softwares, and the more you use them, the more you're able to build your IT skills. So that brings me on to the next part of my video, whether I think working at a Big Four consultancy firm was worth it or not. I actually ended up working at KPMG India for a period of 5 years. That was because I completed my articleship training but did not clear my exams, and I continued to work at KPMG while studying for the CA final course. I'm not going to say it was easy. It was challenging. Some clients were very far away. They did expect a good quality output, and for that we did need to work long hours. There was always competition internally within teams. I always had to constantly prove myself and try and balance studying side by side. But looking back now, I think it was well worth it. Those 5 years at KPMG on my CV is an asset. It adds a lot of brand value onto my CV, and I have no regrets. In fact, I feel really grateful that I did not quit even on days I really wanted to. Working at a Big Four firm will always be challenging, but the pros outweigh the cons. It feels like an accomplishment. I left the firm about 4.5 years ago. I still feel very connected to it. In fact, my husband currently works at KPMG London. I think life is a big circle and everything plays out well and comes back. All you have to do is keep working hard. And that brings me to the last part of this video, and that is some tips and tricks for you to remember when you think about your articleship. My first point is don't do a dummy articleship. The Chartered Accountancy course is not just an exam course. It is the training that you go through that develops your expertise, the day-to-day challenges that you deal with that make you a stronger person. Don't pursue a dummy articleship. I'm in no way telling you to go pursue an articleship at a Big Four consultancy firm. You can even join a small firm, but make sure wherever you work, you put in your best. Be proactive. Raise your hand to take on additional responsibility. Understand who are your important stakeholders. That could be your manager, your client, and try and develop good relationships with them. Get regular feedback from your manager and try and work on those development areas. Have energy, be curious, have a growth mindset. Always try and understand about the businesses. Show that eagerness and the zest in you and bring that out at work every day. Sometimes I felt very underconfident at work, and that's when I did not raise my hand. And that's the advice that I'd give to you. Don't be underconfident and push yourself a little harder wherever you pursue your articleship. And of course, not to forget, whatever you're learning during the CA course, ask your seniors how you could best implement those learnings that you've studied at your daily job. I hope this video was useful and helped you to understand the pros and cons of working at a Big Four consultancy firm. I will be making another video specifically focusing on the things that you can learn during articleship. If you have any more questions or want to know more about my articleship experience or the things that I'm doing now, do comment down below and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. You can also get in touch with me via LinkedIn or Instagram. But until then, keep visualizing your goals and writing them down and keeping them right in front of you and working hard towards them. There is no success without hard work, so keep that in mind. I'll be back with another video. I hope to see you soon. Bye.